What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. Instead of replacing your car to get the latest in technology, why not just replace the technology? And as you know, I have my Audi A4. It's an older one. It's a B7, and so the head unit on it is just the standard thing that came from Audi. Nothing special. And what I wanted to do is replace it with something a little higher tech. So I just bought this. This is an Android head unit, car stereo, and it actually will have a touch screen. I think it's a 7-incher. Not only that, but I really kind of struggled a little bit with what to get. And I want to explain why I got this particular one. First of all, I really wanted something that looked factory. I really also wanted something with Apple CarPlay. Now, what you might be saying is then why would you go with Android, because that doesn't have Apple CarPlay? Well, really interestingly, you can actually run Apple CarPlay on it, but you have to have an adapter. I bought this separately, and I want to just show you this. So theoretically, I can download an app to the Android head unit. It's like a little SD card here, and then you can plug in your iPhone here and you can run Apple CarPlay. So I'm going to show you that. That'll be a little bit separate, so we will try to figure that out, and hopefully that bad boy works. At least from what I can tell, people have been having success with it. So that meant I didn't have to go and spend a lot of money on an official, supported Apple CarPlay stereo, because I can run it on an Android unit. And I will say, from the pioneers and the other companies that actually make certified CarPlay head units, they look great. And in fact, they have some wireless capabilities too, but they are pretty expensive. Starting at $300, but to kind of go up to some of the ones with the features and, like the actual volume knobs, which I really like, you can easily go up to $700-800. And then that brings me to my second part here, is that the really big problem for me was that I didn't want it looking like an aftermarket piece. And if you install, like the Pioneers or whatever, you can get a faceplate made, or I can't remember who makes it, but that'll take up the extra space around the head unit, but it doesn't look stock. It definitely looks aftermarket. Now this one here, and some companies make a variety of different head units that fit exactly the opening. You can see how it tapers here just a little bit. It's a little bit like a V here, trapezoidal shape. And so this is going to be a direct fit. But then what I really liked about this is we had real volume knob, power button. We also, equalizer knobs, and they look pretty nice. We've got a little chrome trim around them. But then these buttons over here were very much in that standard Audi shape. Now I can tell you that this is maybe a little bit shinier of a plastic than the plastic that's in my Audi right now, which maybe has a little bit of a matter finish. But because the shape and everything is built to look like a factory piece, I think it's going to be far less obvious to people that jump in it and don't know that this is a aftermarket unit. It'll just look like maybe it came with it. Really big screen. We've got a plastic protector on top. We have a Navi button right up here. I also want to show you that we have the little slots here where they lock in. And what I noticed, and I didn't know this because I ordered my own set, is that they do have the removal keys included in this. So this is pretty nice, because the set of these will cost you $10. I did buy those from Amazon in order to remove it, but you can see here that you need 4 of those to get these suckers out. The other thing that I was really hoping on this, and I'm not sure, I don't really see it. Okay, here it is. If we look over here, the other thing that I was really, wanted to get on it was a built-in front-facing microphone. There's a little microphone hole here, and why that's important is because I don't have hands-free calling in my car, so this is going to be a new feature. But having it here means I don't necessarily have to, I think, run an external microphone kind of behind the dash and then plug in one of those ugly mics up on your sun visor or on your steering column or on your dashboard. They just look like an aftermarket thing. So I don't know why more companies don't put the mic built in here and maybe make it a better mic, but that's really what I wanted to do, not run a separate external mic. You have the infrared receiver there, so I'm assuming there's like a remote, and we have slots here, SD card for the map, TF card for putting music on, which will actually be kind of nice. I actually might use that because I might just load up my whole library on there so I don't have to connect my iPhone. But when you have Apple CarPlay, that's pretty nice. Looks like we have a hang up button here for the phone, home button, back button, radio. Looks like there's a day and night mode button right there. I like the buttons have some serious push and travel to them, DVD, eject, and like I said, jump to Navi, and then you've got the button here. So overall, I think this looks great. We've got a CD slot here. I don't know that anyone uses CDs, but to be honest, I might and probably will put my CD slot phone mount in there just as a place to have it. I don't know if that'll cover up the screen, but I'm not really super concerned about that. Now, we do have a lot of stuff here. We have a CAN bus adapter, so this is going to integrate into your steering wheel controls. Again, this is for Audi A3, A4, and so hopefully everything is very compatible. Now, the other thing that I was really excited and hopeful about this bad boy is the fact that it should be mostly plug and play. I have installed stereos before with my buddy Ian when we were kids, and you're cutting and splicing wires and using wire connectors and heat shrink connectors and all that. And my hope and prayer is that this is really a plug and play situation where I can take the plugs right out of the back of my existing radio and plug them for the most part right into here. You can see we have some of the plugs right here, even a little antenna. I will also say though, I've read in some of the reviews that there are some complaints that the radio reception is not as good as it is in your stock car, and I think there's 2 antennas in the Audi, and I'm not sure exactly, you know, if it uses both. Now, I also want to show you here. You take a look at this, it looks like it comes with a little camera, so you could run a backup camera on this. I don't really care about that in a smaller car. It's not a big deal. Looks like we have a power cable here. The camera looks like we have a kind of a single prong RCA cable. I think that's to run all the way to the back of the camera. I want to take the stuff out of here because this is where I'm hoping things don't look like they are, hey, here's how you cut up wires and connect everything. So we have bunch of RCA pigtails here, and this looks like it's going to fit into one of these plugs like this one right there. So I don't know what I'm going to need. It's starting to look a little intimidating. Got another one here, so if we want camera, front camera, various auxiliary jacks, and again this looks like it's going to fit into one of these like down here. One of these auxiliary jacks might be nice for having like a 3.5mm plug-in. This looks like the USB cable, so these look like they'll plug in there, and then it looks like it creates a couple of USB ports here, which might be nice for a thumb drive, but also, like I said, this connector so that I can basically emulate Apple Play on it. We have, let's see here, I think this is the GPS receiver. So you would screw this into the back here, I'm assuming, and then kind of mount this maybe underneath your dash. Looks like we've got double-sided tape on it. So you certainly could use navigation, like I said, your removal keys. And then we have 2 big harnesses, as far as I can tell. Looks like they're all connected together here. And this is my hope that these will be pretty straightforward for installation. So I've got this clip here, and I'm assuming that'll go right in here, and then we get this big this big adapter on the back, and hopefully that means what comes out of my Audi stereo will go right in here. And then we have this big harness, and you can see here I've got a couple of I'm not even sure where this one would go yet. Maybe this one goes in there. That's what it kind of looks like to me. And maybe that one goes in there. And then this will maybe plug into my Audi. So I guess maybe it's more because A3, A4, I'm not sure if these are marked. Okay, A3 on this one, so I don't think I'm going to use that one. And hopefully this one says, oh, this is A3 too, so I'm not sure. So I guess what I will probably do is, because they look like they use the same ports, is pull out the stuff on my stock head unit and figure out which one of these I am going to use, because otherwise, I don't know, they seem like they use the same connectors, so you're only gonna use one or the other. All right, let's get these keys, let's get the old stereo out, get this one in, and let's cross our fingers that this was worthwhile. Oh, the other thing is this is under 300 bucks. Last thing I wanna show you here, there's a note, remove these screws before installing it. I think these are just kind of to brace everything while the unit is being shipped to you. So don't forget to remove those. All right, let's do this thing. Okay, so we're gonna use these little keys here to take this out, and you can see slot there, slot here, and here. So you need all four. And I believe the flat edge goes out, the curved edge goes inside on all of them. Now, quick tip, these little keys that came in this set, I'm glad they included them, but I could not get these things to work here. And so I actually ordered this set of keys from Amazon. It was like $8, put them in, and I can tell you right away, these things work so much better. This thing is starting to come out. Just kind of want to work it out, but as soon as I got them in, I felt like a solid click, and as you can see, it's starting to move here. All right, so I got the unit out here. There's not a lot of slack in the back here. So I'm just going to kind of try to disconnect everything by feel and what I can see. You can see the antenna on this side. I think things are just going to generally pull out. All right, got the thing removed. It is a little bit tricky sometimes, the connectors, especially when you can't see them. But it looks like we have that one antenna here. I'm not sure what this one is. And then 3 large connectors here. And so now I'm going to kind of take a look and see what these plug into in terms of those connectors that we have in the bag, because that's all we've got there. So that's pretty simple so far. And like I said, we've got 2 screws here, I think for shipping only. Take those out. Don't forget to remove those before installing. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not an audiophile, and I kind of wish I were. I think you kind of put together what you can here, but it's not super clear. First of all, of the 2 major connectors, this is the only one that looks like it's going to work. I mean, these things will fit in here, I believe. So I think I need to use this one. And then I'm going to plug this into the back of the stereo. I'm going to take the CAN bus here and plug it into this white one right here, I believe, because that's the only one that seems to fit. So I've got that in there. A couple things, that I will note is that there are little flags on a lot of stuff, which is nice. This connector here, but I actually thought it was an antenna. I can't figure out how to connect this at all, so it doesn't seem to connect into the harness, and there doesn't seem to be an appropriate connector anywhere else. So I guess I am going to connect these up here, connect this as much as I can to the back of this bad boy. There is an antenna input here, but this does not seem to want to fit. It doesn't seem to be a long enough lead. And then I will connect this USB line into one of these plugs, whatever is open when I'm done here. And I think I will put and mount this Navi antenna as well. I actually kind of wonder if this little connector here is like a navigation antenna too, for GPS that they just aren't using. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So the adapter to try to connect this old antenna plug to the new antenna plug finally arrived today. And I say finally because I actually ordered another one that was supposed to fit and it clearly did not. So I ordered this, which should fit. So you can see it's got the longer prong, which should stick in here. And then it has like this female receiver, which should hopefully fit in there. So I'm going to take it apart here, open it up, and see if it fits, hopefully. And so hopefully this just slides on here and will stick. So that seems to work. And then to go into the antenna plug in the back here, you can see how deep that is, and hopefully that will just plug right in there. And it appears to work. So that is great. That's what I'm going to do. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about this little cord right here, which is to the GPS antenna, which I think is that shark fin antenna on the back on the roof. Because the cars apparently are equipped here with that GPS antenna, I could take that one in there and attach it directly to it. It has its own little connector, and I think I did find a connector that would work, but because that's a little bit of a stranger connector, I didn't really bother with it. And because I have this one in there right now that's stuck in there that came with the kit, I'm just going to leave it. And because I use my phone mostly for navigation, I'm not going to sweat it too much. However, if I really want to use the navigation on this unit a lot, I might go ahead and order that connector. It was only like $15 and see if I can get it working a little bit better. So I think that's it. I mean, I know I have some wires and plugs and stuff like that hanging off here. So I'm just going to tuck everything back in and push it in, and we'll give it a try. So I've got it in, seemed to click in and be staying there. I will tell you, because there's so many cords in the back, and since there's not a lot of room, I think it is compressing some of those cords. A couple times I had to pull it out and kind of tuck the things down below as much as possible. But it's in there, and it's a perfect fit. I certainly love the shape of it. Even these buttons look like kind of the market head unit that came with the A4s. Now, again, it is a little more stark contrast of the plastics. You can see here we've got this kind of more charcoal, softer touch plastics up at the top, and then on the control panel on the bottom, and we have a kind of a darker, shinier, cheaper plastic, to be honest, on the head unit. Might not be the easiest thing in the world there to see, but there's a little bit of a difference. Now, it's more of the overall shape of this bad boy that really makes it look like almost factory. If they could have matched the plastic a little bit better, that would have really, really sold it. But I get that, for $250 with all the parts and everything, it is what it is. So I'd be lying if I didn't say I was slightly nervous about turning this key and seeing if it powers on. I am a bit familiar with this head unit, so I think it's going to be kind of a lot like an Android tablet. Power on there. Oh, booyah! Look at that. And it even has a Audi splash screen, so that's pretty cool. I was not expecting that. Might have to kind of move this light to not be as annoying. It says Android on the startup. Obviously my car is on. It does take a little while, I guess, to fully boot up. So far, I'm pretty excited. All right, so I've played around with it a little bit here. Looks like you can kind of get some different, home screens here by clicking on this. It looks like there's at least 3 different types, what suits your fancy. I will say, too, that I think what you can do, and I kind of like this one, hopefully we can do a little customizing, so we can do that. I've actually got it connected to my home Wi-Fi, so it looks like it's downloading some updates. I've even got it paired A2DP to my phone, so I was just playing some music through there. I can't show it to you because if I do that, then it stops recording. I also paired it. You actually have to pair it twice, one for hands-free, one for A2DP, and so I paired it to my phone for phone calls, and that seems to work. And the really nice thing is if I'm using my Apple Maps or my Google Maps, it just kind of uses Bluetooth to give me directions through there. Like I said, there is a microphone here for hands-free calling, so we'll try that in a second here. But if I hit Bluetooth music, if you hit music, that's kind of different. You actually have to use like a thumb drive to plug it into the USB plug that I have here that I wired, and that also does work, which I can show you hopefully. So let's go ahead and put that in. I only have one song on here. I think it's Brown and Gray Cruise. Booyah. So that's just an MP3 on this flash drive, so I could load up pretty much anything I wanted here. If I pull it out, you can see no music file. So if I just go back here, I can go to phone. I did try to pair my contacts or sync them up. It doesn't show up here, but if I make a call, it definitely goes through there. So that's really, really nice too. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this. Don't know how the GPS will work. I think it's going to use my Wi-Fi signal right now for a location. Apparently you can put an SD card in here for that. Now, I did tap on radio here, and what I wanted to show you is 96.3 here in Chicago is a big station, and I really wanted to know if that radio station was coming across with the way I rigged the antenna through that adapter, and it seems to be working great. And I can stop it with the power button right there. So the fact that that comes in so strong, and we've got some presets here, which I will adjust in this scrolls through the channels. I'm going to go up to 99.5, which is a big country station around here. Got to see if we can adjust it to US. No problem, that comes in fine too. All right, now the last thing I want to do here is actually make a call, and because again, no microphone on the dashboard or up here, no external mic. That was one of the reasons I liked it, the ease of installation by having the microphone only built into the head unit. I really like that. Hopefully it works all right. So let's call into my voicemail and just leave a message and see what kind of audio quality we get.
What's happening, Pete? Pete here. Just leaving yourself a voicemail through the new aftermarket Android-based head unit that I've installed in my Audi A4. I'm just sitting in the driver's seat, facing straight ahead, looking at my steering wheel and speaking kind of in a, maybe a slightly elevated, but a typical normal telephone conversation voice here. So basically just wanted to check the audio quality and see what it's like. Obviously the car's stationary right now, so keep in mind there might be some wind noise, air noise or road noise, that kind of thing, when you're actually on the road and moving. But, you know, I just wanted to see what it's like, especially with having an external microphone that is kind of designed for this, just having that microphone built into the head unit. So, that being said, you can judge this based on the audio quality yourself. But I will say I am really excited. The installation was something I could do at home. I would recommend buying that adapter to connect to your antenna, and maybe even the adapter to connect to your navigation antenna if you want that too. But otherwise, everything else that came with and was a swap that I could do, and it looks fantastic. So I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to trying it out here in the future. If you want to pick this up or any of the parts that you saw here on the channel, I'll put links to them in the description below. Peter von Panda.